Recently, social media has been serving up a ton of mukbang videos to my feed. If you don't know what mukbang is, it's basically people cramming food into their mouths and making lots of lip smacking noises. And usually they're accompanied by gargantuan piles of food which they cannot physically eat. It looks very unrealistic. It's kind of like you're witnessing this cornucopia of huge amount of food items, and there's a feeling of, I guess, craving when you watch the video because you see all these glistening, chunky food items, often delectable stuff that's high in sugar content, piled in these impossible towers, these stacks. And a lot of people watch the mukbang videos because I'm sure there's some grotesque sexual element of people cramming food into their mouths. That's part of the appeal. It's also that they're making these lip smacking noises and sucking on food and talking with their mouths full and chewing really loudly. And that has the ASMR effect for many people, where they get pleasure from, or they find it relaxing to hear those noises. I personally do not have that, do not experience that effect. For me, as someone who is autistic and has misophonia, I hear those noises and I want to grab my headphones off my ears and throw them across the room because the sound is that unpleasant. At the same time, I'm mesmerized because these glistening foodstuffs are arrayed in front of me, and I'm seeing this person just eating the food that a lot of the times I wish I could eat, but I can't because of various dietary problems, and in huge quantities as well. They're not savoring it, which is the thing that bothers me, because I see them biting into these. For example, one thing that I love watching is giant mochi bowls that are stuffed with like some kind of cream or dairy product. And to me, from a tactile perspective, I love chewing stuff like that because it's highly stimulating. And I often find myself chewing stuff like that, like gummies, for example, because of that tactile feeling. It's so enjoyable. So I'm watching that. I'm conflicted because I enjoy seeing somebody tearing into like a big, gigantic mochi bowl and tearing the skin, the artificial skin, and eating cream and all that kind of stuff. It looks delicious. And it's kind of escapism for me, food escapism. But then that food component, the noisy eating, is very off-putting. And for me, that misophonia has made it really hard to want to sit and eat with other people if they have those habits, for example, chewing with their mouth open or lip smacking or slurping. When I lived in China briefly, slurping was just part and parcel with dining culture. People would slurp all the time, and I'd have to be like, or eat alone because people were inevitably going to do it, and it was going to make me very overwhelmed, if not enraged. That's often the response that misophonia provokes from me, is rage. If somebody makes a high frequency noise, particularly using like their bodies, like sniffing, for example, or like repeatedly, even, it's not necessarily high frequency, it could be guttural noises that they make, like like making repeated noises when they're listening to somebody talking as a sign of affirmation. It's weird, it's very unpredictable, but the human noises are what are essentially off-putting. It's hard to predict when that might show up in a social context, but dining is the number one area where you're likely to hear the misophonia type noises. Do you experience misophonia? How do you respond to mukbang videos? What are your thoughts about it? I know there's a weird connection here and it's kind of unexpected, but I know that having had a lot of these appear on my feed, my misophonia is coming to the fore. I figured it was a good time as ever to talk about it. What have your experiences been like with misophonia, with hearing certain noises? Do you have sensory sensitivities like this?